SEC football presented by Sonic. This is Starkville, home to the maroon and white Mississippi State Bulldogs against the maroon and white number 14 ranked Texas A&M Aggies on SEC Network. Mike Elko and his Aggies about to come onto the field. That's Matt Stinchcomb. I'm Taylor Zarser. Both of these ties belong to Matt Stinchcomb, by the way. These two programs wear the same colors, and they both have first-year head coaches, but that's where the similarities stop as they're taking over programs in very different positions.
Yeah, for both these teams, the season started very differently. Mississippi State, their one victory, week one. Texas A&M's lone blemish from week one versus Notre Dame. You think about Mike Elko, he inherited a pretty good defense. He's tweaked it, made it even better. Mississippi State, a hard reset, but a program that the last two times out versus Texas and Georgia, they've shown marked improvement.
A&M has done it with two different quarterbacks so far through the first 6 games. It's time for kind of a big deal. Brought to you by Old Trapper. Connor Wigman is back.
Yeah, after being on the shelf for a while, he started the season, the first 2 opening games, then injured that shoulder in first game back versus Missouri. Boy, did he put a lot of trust in his receivers. 5 plays of 20 yards or more. He only had 1 of those in his first 2 starts this season. You can see the passing game starting to get its legs for the Aggie offense.
No matter who the quarterback's been, they've been smart with it. Only 3 turnovers on the season. The tailback has always been Le'Veon Moss, one of the best in the country. And for more on him, we say hello to Ashley.
Hey, Taylor, well, when it comes to the success that everyone's seeing Le'Veon Moss have, head coach Mike Elko says it's not really much to do with the scheme the offense is running, but everything to do with Moss making the decision to step up and really do what it takes to be a pro, coming to practice every day, not missing weightlifting, and learning how to take care of his body. Elko said what you're seeing is a really talented player that's now maximizing everything he has. Offensive coordinator Colin Klein added that Moss is now one of the players on the roster that's stepping up and being a culture driver. He said Moss isn't afraid to let his guys know they're not living up to the standard that Elko is establishing, but Stinch and Taylor, as you know, Moss a bit of a quiet guy, now being a little bit more vocal.
He certainly looks like a next-level player like Devon Achane is now in the NFL. That guy's a next-level player, the best ever quarterback at Mississippi State, Dak Prescott, ringing the cowbell. And Dak is cheering for a true freshman at quarterback today in Michael Van Buren. First start at number 1 Texas, second start at number 5 Georgia, first home start today against number 14 Texas A&M. Welcome to college football.
Yeah, a lot friendlier confines today for Michael Van Buren, but boy, the confidence that he should have been able to develop last week versus Georgia. It's been a run-heavy offense for Mississippi State this season. Looked to be that. Again, last week versus Georgia, and they've said, no, let's let the true freshman start to stretch the football field, and he answered the call. Blow after blow, downfield shots, and able to find yardage and scores versus the Georgia defense. Michael Van Buren seeking to build on that here this afternoon versus what could be an even better defense, certainly a better front than what he saw even last week versus Georgia.
Those are the first-year coaches at their respective schools. Of course, Coach Elko used to be the defensive coordinator at A&M. That was the head coach at Duke for 2 years. Jeff Lebby was the offensive coordinator at his alma mater, Oklahoma, and boy, did they miss him now in his first season. His Bulldogs won the toss. They elected to receive. State leads the series 9-8, 4-2 here in Starkville. They beat A&M 42-24 here 2 years ago. A&M won in College Station last year, 51-10. It is as perfect as it looks here in Stark Vegas today as Jared Zirkle kicks it deep to Devon Booth. Off a hop at the 1. There are flags on the field, and Booth is past the 30. Today's referee is Jason Autry, who already gets to make a call here.
holding, 17 return team. The penalty is half the distance from the spot of the foul. Please reset the game clock to 14 minutes, 52 seconds. 14:52.
So Jordan Morant with the penalty, and that pushes Michael Van Buren and his offense back further. We saw it in Athens last week. Stinch, SEC Freshman Player of the Week, second ever Mississippi State quarterback to throw for over 300 yards against the Georgia Bulldogs.
He'll be tasked with trying to get some air yards today, stretch this defense a little bit. The defensive front for A&M, probably the most talented in the country.
In the shadows, keeps it in the end zone, throws, and it's a bullet. Mario Craver, another freshman, makes the grab. It's a pickup of 13.
They got great speed at wide receiver, does Mississippi State. Mario Craver able to get behind the secondary last week. Opens this game up strongly with a first down catch.
A&M has not seen a tempo like this all season. Jeff Lebby and Mississippi State go quickly, about as quickly as anyone in college football. And on the sweep in the backfield, blown up Nick Scorton. He about took the carry from Craver.
Yeah, 10 tackles for loss coming into this game, make it 11. Just blows right upfield. The puller's incapable of getting there in time. That's a 280-pound legit defensive end running off the edge.
A loss of 5. Again, a handoff. This is Booth. Booth spinning free. Mississippi State gets up to the 29 where Ratcliffe makes the tackle. It's a pickup of 13. They couldn't run it on Georgia. Jeff Lebby says they must run it against A&M.
A huge second down run just to get it to third and manageable. One of the bigger challenges for Mississippi State early on versus Georgia last week were the third and long scenarios. This is a potential rundown even for Mississippi State.
And it is a run, and it's a first down by Booth. 3 in Aggie territory. Look at the movement down near the 30. Finally tackled by Will Lee. It's a pickup of 40.
He's able to just juke out Dalton Brooks coming up from his safety spot. And of course, you see the tempo, and already, this was a concern coming into this game. As you mentioned, A&M has not seen a lot of tempo offenses. The concern coming into the season was the potential for defenders feigning an injury. Who knows, could be legit. We've seen this in college football in the early going now. Right off an explosive play, and an Aggie defender.
Shamar Turner.
It looks like he's going to be okay, Taylor.
As the only second 20-plus yard run all year for Mississippi State.
Coming into this game, Mississippi State, as we mentioned, largely a run-oriented offense. Jeff Lebby wants to go fast, but typically does run the football. That will challenge Mike Elko's defense today if they're able to pick up first downs.
Daniels to the 29 where Johnny is stopped just a couple of yards. Pick up Torian York, the communicator for Mike Elko and Jay Bateman's defense on the tackle. And the Boo Birds are back out because Shamar Turner is back on the field after missing only one play.
Yeah, credit the training staff. Great job getting him back up on his feet, able to recover from that injury.
I sense some sarcasm.
Laid it on pretty thick.
Turner did have off-season shoulder surgery, but he was nursing his leg on the previous play. Here's Daniels. And again, Aggies in the backfield. Torian York from the linebacker spot coming up to help those defensive linemen. You made me stop what I was doing on my way back up to the booth, and you made me watch that front seven warm up for the Aggies they're as good as you'll find in college football.
You know, in talking with Jay Bateman, the defensive coordinator for Texas A&M, he said, I've talked to some NFL guys that said, hey, I'll swap you, your personnel for mine. These guys are talented. Defensive end to defensive end.
3rd and 8 for Van Buren. Gets out of there, spins, and he's near a first down, right near the marker. Looks like maybe, it'll depend on the spot where Albert Regis made the tackle. It'll be 4th down.
And they're over the football. No hesitancy from Mississippi State.
10 of 16 on 4th down this year. Need a yard. And Daniels hit the hole hard. Looks like he got it. He needed to get to the 21, and the officials are coming in just past that mark. It is a first down.
As you mentioned it, Taylor, one of the most active 4th down teams in the country. They converted 10, make that 11. And they've done an excellent job of capitalizing on drives where they've converted a 4th down and coming away with points on those offensive possessions. The other piece is keeping those big bodies for Texas A&M out on the field off that explosive and stringing together first downs.
This is the 9th play of the drive. Van Buren to throw. Incomplete. He had Seydou Traore, but Traore was covered up by Scooby Williams. 2nd down.
Traore got his head around a little bit late. It was almost like he didn't anticipate that ball being there. A little bit upfield. Good job that time by Scooby Williams, able to get the breakup.
Van Buren started slowly against Georgia last week and came on strong, throwing for over 300 yards in the last 3 quarters. Back to the ground. Nope, fake to the ground, and then on slant, it's dropped by Craver. Thrown a little bit behind him. Put it in Booth's belly. Craver couldn't make the catch.
No, he had him. You see it off the play action. The ball behind Craver on the slant. You want to put it on his hip. Van Buren knows it. He wants that one back. And that time, just enough time for Texas A&M to do a wholesale change along their defensive front.
A late change at that. On 3rd and 10, a good ball. Short of the first to Coleman. Kevin's caught a pass now in 24 in a row. It'll be 4th and 3 here, Matthew.
No hesitancy once again. In fact, they didn't even look to the sideline to expect to come off. You get the ball to Coleman. Coleman, one of the best receivers with the ball in his hands. Leads the conference in forced missed tackles.
You like this?
I like the aggressiveness. It makes sense when you're facing a defense like this one. You've got them on their heels. See if you can't punch one in, especially with the success on 4th. And here comes a timeout from Jeff Levy.
Mississippi State has called their first charge timeout of the half.
First-year head coach of the Bulldogs, whose team has lost 5 in a row, but you would never know it by how hard his team is competing against top 15 teams week after week.
SEC Network Football is presented by the Sonic $1.99 menu. Live free, eat Sonic. And in part by T-Mobile 5G home internet. Get internet how you want it.
Shared a couple coaches through the years, including Jackie Sherrill. Jeff Levy's the head coach at Mississippi State now, and his offense is on the field. He did have Kyle Ferry, his kicker, out there, took him off, and he's going for it. On 4th and 3, wide open to Booth. Touchdown State. Jeff Levy rolls the dice, and his teammates answer for him. State strikes first. And now Kyle Ferry on the field, the sophomore from Searcy, Arkansas, makes it 7-0. One of us up here didn't know if that was the right choice or not. I'm not going to say which one it was. But Levy clearly knew what he was doing, Mr. Stinchcomb.
So watch, you end up, it's going to go to Booth out of the backfield. He's just going to leak out. But watch, you got inside routes. It ends up causing some traffic. It's like a natural screen. You see his inside, it looked like Scooby Williams had Booth, and he just gets hung up in the wash. Booth wide open. Not a dissimilar concept to one we saw last week versus Georgia, where Booth also had a wide open touchdown catch into the end zone. That one was closer in the low red zone. But here, roll the dice twice on 4th down. Come out shooting your guns, Mississippi State.
You said go for it, by the way, and you also said going into this game, State must score early. Look at that, 49 points scored on drives after converting a 4th down, one of the best numbers in the country. That 4th down touchdown was the 12th play of the drive on the longest scoring drive by distance this year, 92 yards.
We talked to Texas A&M's coaching staff. Jay Bateman, defensive coordinator, he said if they want to go tempo, great. You still got to block those big guys up front. But you could see Aggie defense looked a little bit winded on that opening possession.
A short kick that's fielded by Dalton Brooks at the 5-yard line, and Brooks is past the 25. And that is where the Aggies will start shop for the first time on offense with Connor Wigman, the sophomore from Cypress, Texas, who missed 3 games with a shoulder injury. He was terrific, at least I thought, Stinch, in his return 2 weeks ago. 18 of 22 passing, no mistakes in that blowout victory against Mizzou.
I liked his poise more than anything else. The decision-making, sure, was opportunistic with his legs. Offensive coordinator, play caller Colin Klein said, we don't design a lot of runs for him, but he can't hurt you. He's mobile enough.
And on a sweep play on the first play on offense, it's Jabri Barber. Barber gets a few. Those plays are typically designed for Terry Bussey. Bussey has been dealing with an injury, so it goes to Barber instead.
Yeah, a little bit maybe short-handed for the Aggie perimeter run game. As you mentioned, Bussey's the guy that usually gets those easy touches to get him out in space.
Pickup of 1. Le'Veon Moss tries the left side, and Moss is upended at the 30-yard line by Bryce Pollock. It's been terrific the last couple of weeks. It's 3rd and 5 for the Aggies.
So watch this little pin and pull right there. You see the edge, a little bit muddy there at a bunch formation. And Pollock showing up big again for Mississippi State. Big plays last week. And now a nice tackle on Moss to force this 3rd down. Empty backfield. Wow, they motioned Moss back into the backfield with him.
Daniels picks up the blitz, and on the slant, that is caught. Jabri Barber made the grab. Good job going down to the grass to get it.
Great concentration by Barber. Ball comes in low, pressure on Wegman that time. Great job getting those hands underneath it, clean catch to get a conversion.
Barber's got a ton of speed, but he really has been a possession target for Wigman like he was there to move the chains. Connor to throw on 1st down with plenty of time. Down the seam, and he had a man. Noah Thomas beat the defense. Wigman overthrew him.
Middle field stays open. You got split safeties. And you see Noah Thomas, just a little double move. Corner back to the post. Watch him get to the middle of the field. This is a touchdown. Noah Thomas. Looks like he could have left his feet to come down with that catch. Was trying to run through the throw.
Pistol set with Amari Daniels behind Wigman on 2nd and 10. Amari is past the 40. 3rd and short for the junior from Miami, who's been a 4-year contributor And now has been a situational tailback behind Moss this season for Texas A&M.
Well, A&M goes right back to that same run concept. They're able to create angles. The edge offensive players able to block down. You get a couple of pullers in front, but yet another third down. And last time Mississippi State was able to get pressure on Connor Wigman.
All those cowbells clang until the play clock gets under 15. Then they have to be quiet until the snap. And then they go again on 3rd and 3. Another conversion for the Aggies. And it's Barber again that makes the first down grab. 14 more.
Well, part of the challenge is the soft coverage for Mississippi State. They play way off. And the idea is to keep you in front of them. And then they rally to the catch. The problem is they forfeit conversions.
Wigman line of scrimmage throw to Barber. And Jabri with his 3rd catch already blown up. Isaac Smith with the tackle.
A heck of a tackle by Isaac Smith, but you can see that these quarterbacks, opposing quarterbacks versus Mississippi State defensively, they enjoy great days. 74% completion average coming into this game. A lot of them are completing north of 80% of their throws.
When will we see Le'Veon Moss run the ball? Here he is. And he gets to the 40 where Ashun Shepard tackled him. It's another 3rd down for Wigman and the Aggie offense.
You can see Mississippi State playing much better on the early downs, making Texas A&M earn it. Here, the 3rd and long scenario, they were able to affect Wigman on a couple of throws, especially that first 3rd down.
You saw Coleman Hutzler, the defensive coordinator. They run it here with Moss, and Le'Veon gets free inside the 20, inside the 15, down near the 10. Rylan Lanier saved the touchdown as Moss with his first big run of the game for 30 yards.
A bad run fit by Hunter Washington, and Le'Veon Moss makes him pay. There's a reason why. Oh, wow.
From the previous spot, remains 3rd down.
Ah, snuck a flag out. Didn't see that one.
Yeah, it was in the shadows over there.
An illegal shift negates what was otherwise a tremendous run by Moss. So hard to bring to the ground. We haven't seen a lot of him though early on in this game. As you mentioned, Amari Daniels got in there and a couple of tosses, and now a 3rd and 10 plus after the penalty.
So now a 3rd and 12, Moss off the field. Daniels in there for protection. That's where Wigman throws it. Amari tries to pick it up, and he does. With a little dump-off pass down to the 31, 14 more, and the Aggies have been terrific on 3rd down.
And Mississippi State, as we mentioned, they play deep, and when you drop, you're defending the sticks. But that means there's more space you have to cover. And Texas A&M, they had that convoy. Basically just moved the line of scrimmage, played it 10 yards downfield.
Wigman now with 200 career completions, 3 for 3 on 3rd down today. It's E.J. Smith. And E.J. doesn't get much. Maybe a yard. Lanier comes up to help make another tackle. 2nd and 9. Mississippi State's doing what Coleman Hutzler and the staff wants them to do on 1st and 2nd down, Stinch. There's an injury on the field. 3rd down has been the problem. State scored first, but the Aggies are on the march. All this talk about the teams that are 2nd, 3rd, 4th in your graphic, and justifiably so. But look who's at the top of the graphic. Texas A&M is undefeated in conference play. Their one blemish, of course, was out of conference to Notre Dame. The Aggies are a college football playoff contender at the midway mark.
And you knew coming into the season, likelihood that it would need to be a defensive-led football team. I think that's been the case. And Connor Wigman was not his best coming back from injury. New offensive play caller in that opener versus Notre Dame, and it looked like that. Mike Elko is a defensive-minded coach. stuck with Klein, obviously, knew that it was going to take some time. And they're marching here.
Amari Daniels, not much. Down to the 28-yard line. It'll set up another 3rd and long. Colin Klein has been terrific with play calling all season, especially on this drive, Stinch. 3 for 3 on 3rd down, and it hadn't mattered how long the distance has been to go.
Yeah, got that pressure on the first 3rd and 6. Converted the 3rd and short, and then 3rd and 12 off a screen pass. Mississippi State did not bring pressure. They just dropped into coverage that time.
Plenty of time. Wigman delivers a good ball again to Jabri Barber. Barber came into the game with just 10 catches. He already has 4 on this drive, and it's another 1st down catch.
Well, as we mentioned, quarterbacks enjoy a high percentage of completions. And you can see, the corners are playing about 10 yards off, and then they're backpedaling at the snap. So they're forcing you offensively to execute, but they're not tied up in coverage oftentimes. There is room to throw. These are access throws.
State scored on a 12-play drive. This is the 13th play of Texas A&M's first possession. Barber in zone with flags everywhere, and a catch made by Thomas for a touchdown.
Holding, defense number 4. The penalty is declined. The result of the play is a touchdown.
Noah Thomas, the 3rd touchdown catch of the season for him. And that's Connor Wigman's first touchdown pass since the 2nd week of the season.
We talk about the cushion. That time, Diego Brumfield was rolled up tight on the line of scrimmage. Tried to hold Noah Thomas, a big body, 6'6", 200 pounds. Just muscled his way right through that, came up with a touchdown anyway.
And Randy Bond ties it up. Mississippi State scored in 12 plays. The Aggies say, we'll go 13. How about the first possessions for both these teams wearing maroon and white? That's over 12 minutes of game time. Look at the 2 drives to start the game. Both teams only with 1 possession, each scoring touchdowns. Mississippi State converting a couple of 4th downs. Texas A&M converting 4 3rd downs.
Glorious. I mean, how many micro climaxes are there, right? It's like, oh, 3rd down, what's going to happen? Oh, a conversion. And when Mississippi State had it, even if they don't convert, it's a 4th down conversion.
What is happening in the 3rd Saturday in October in Knoxville, Tennessee, Dari Noka?
Well, TZ, it is time to take a look at the unexpected performance brought to you by J-Lab. And the unexpected part is nobody had scored until this. Jalen Milroe to Ryan Williams touchdown. Bama strikes first, 7-0. I guess that might be a micro climax, Stinch. I'm not sure. We're trying to figure that one out.
More to come at halftime. Dari makes fun of our friend Mr. Stinchcomb. There was a flag on the kickoff there. There are a couple of different games that would be tough to call from a color standpoint, Matt. Oklahoma versus Alabama, both wearing crimson.
Oh, boy, yeah.
Texas and Tennessee, a different color orange. I would submit these 2 playing as the most challenging. Maroon and white everywhere.
Yeah. And they play UMass in a couple of weeks.
Oh, no.
Prayers up for the officials. Thank goodness they wore different helmets. It's like a maroon monsoon out there. Nothing but maroon.
It is Van Buren giving himself up near the 25. Let's go down to Ashley.
Hey, Taylor. Well, after that first Mississippi State drive, Michael Van Buren was quickly greeted by head coach Jeff Levy. They celebrated for a moment, then they came over, brought out the iPad, reviewed some plays. One thing that Levy stressed to us was communication. He really wanted Van Buren to be able to let the coaching staff know what he's comfortable doing. So that's something that they're working on throughout the week and through the game. But as you saw on that first drive, it worked out pretty well.
A lot of trust that's being built there between a true freshman quarterback and a head coach, Ashley. That ball snapped from the 15-yard line, and just a couple of yards for Daniels. It'll be third down after York made another tackle.
Well, it's that between snap communication. It changed it last week. Mississippi State now quickly over it. You see Van Buren making adjustments, but he was a rough start versus Georgia, especially in the passing game. And Jeff Lebby said it was between snaps that gave him the confidence to open up the play calling in the passing game, and it paid dividends.
On 3rd and 6, pockets going down. Van Buren throws, and it's a good ball to Craver. And Mario's yards after the catch move the chains for 10.
You said it. I'm not so sure. I think his drop was off. Van Buren just caught the snap and stood there. Ended up getting the rush in his lap, but was still able to deliver a strike to Craver.
Fresh set of downs. Back to the ground. And it's Johnny Daniels, and Daniels falls forward past the 35 to the 36. You know, since Mississippi State ran for 240 against Florida, 150 against Texas, but just 79 yards rushing last week against Georgia. Must run the ball to beat Texas A&M.
Well, it's different this time. You know, that last run, A&M was down a defender, meaning they had 6 defenders for 7 potential blockers.
Already have over 70, over 80, over 90 yards rushing in this game. They've eclipsed last week's total in the first quarter as Daniels got into the secondary. Lee on the tackle.
Yeah, big difference. Last week, Georgia was loading up on the run and was compromised in the passing game. Now you see Texas A&M, fewer numbers, Mississippi State able to take advantage in the ground game.
See if they get the playoff before the quarter ends. They do not. 25-yard pickup for Daniels at the end of the quarter, and Mississippi State is in Texas A&M territory. They're flying in from everywhere to watch the Aggies and the Bulldogs on SEC Network. You're watching SEC football presented by Sonic in the heart of the Southeastern Conference, and the heartbeat of Starkville, Mississippi is Mississippi State. They just honored the 2014 Mississippi State Bulldogs. The 24 edition is in Aggie territory after having an effective ground attack in these first 2 possessions. Daniels not much there as Regis made the tackle. It'll be 2nd and 9.
Yeah, but the run game has really come alive in this one. You know, the previous 2 runs prior to that one, they had multiple blockers, 7 potential blockers, a couple of tight ends. Got a similar look on this run.
Van Buren in trouble, sacked for the first time, back near the 44-yard line. He's down. It'll be a loss of 6 as York and Kennedy got there.
They're going to be frustrated when they watch this one. You've got 7 blockers in, and you just get lost. Somehow or other, Jacoby Jackson, who kind of popped out from his guard spot, just didn't see York coming around. Got his eyes caught inside, gave up the sack.
2nd sack for Torian this season.
That's a big negative yardage play. The defense does an excellent job of getting you behind the sticks.
3rd and 15. Van Buren pumps and goes down again. 2nd consecutive play. It's Cassius Howell this time.
It's a bad matchup. You've got a back on a big body defensive end tight. You say he's an outside linebacker, but watch him run right through the inside of Johnny Daniels. It's just a losing proposition. That is a mismatch right out of the gate. Do what you're trying to do to create a full slide protection, meaning you're able to help out the adjacent blocker, but that time you end up leaving a back on the edge. Back-to-back tackles for loss.
Both by linebackers, and Nick Barmira comes in for the first punt of the game, fielded near the 18-yard line by Jabri Barber. Aggies back on offense. Just cannot wait. Friday and Saturday before Christmas, you have first-round games, and then New Year's Eve and New Year's Day quarterfinal matchups. Semis just over a week later before the national championship is decided in Atlanta.
On-campus games, too. That's the coolest part about the playoffs.
Maybe they're coming to College Station, Texas for a playoff game this year. You never know. Wigman loads up on the first play of the second possession, and it can't be grabbed by Cyrus Allen. He had it off his fingertips, and he had a step on Diego Brumfield.
A great ball from Connor Wigman. This is just a drop right off, and not just the fingertips. Hit him in the hands. Cyrus Allen, the guy there working to get going. Guy can stretch the field at 6 feet. He got some speed and had a step on that one. Heavy play action to buy the linebackers and safeties' eyes, and they got what they wanted.
Low snap. Moss takes it. Le'Veon still trying to get going. Remember, the long run he had was negated by a penalty, so just 3 carries for 8 yards. As Isaac Smith made another tackle. It's 3rd and 7.
Great tackle by Isaac Smith. He's chasing this play from the backside to force this 3rd and long. And it looks like there's an injury on the field. Looks like left guard Chase Basantis. We talked to the Texas A&M coaching staff. His name came up. He's playing good football for the Aggies. It looks like he probably got rolled up at the end of that run.
Sophomore from Ramsey, New Jersey. Mike Elko, also from New Jersey, walked out to the field to check on him immediately.
I mean, there's some carnage at the end of that one. Trey Zune, left tackle. He ended up having Isaac Smith spin into the back of his legs. We were talking about this before the game. This happens a lot. Guys will roll up on the back of your legs. You see the big, heavy knee braces. It looks like he can walk off under his own power. Those are always ugly-looking plays. Looks like Basantis, at the very least, we'll see him in that injury tent. We might see Big 71 back out on the field.
Well, Colin Klein, Matt, has been perfect on play calls on 3rd down, no matter what the distance has been. 4 for 4. What does he call in a 3rd and 7?
Well, we saw earlier where they're able to deliver, even with pressure, able to get a shot downfield. Then the other was on the 3rd and 12, they hit that middle screen and caught Mississippi State dropping. And the question is, can State actually get to Wegman? They have been able to pressure him.
TJ Shanahan has come in for Basantis. See him at center quite a bit. The true freshman's out there at left guard. Wigman, trouble with the snap. Time to deliver, and a perfect ball in stride. Past midfield is Barber. Jabri is streaking near the 20. Every 3rd down, it's been Wigman finding Barber.
Wow, Texas A&M, I think they get away with a hold by right there on the edge. My goodness, Amari Daniels practically tackled Mitchell, it looked like. Regardless, able to get yet another 3rd down conversion.
Already 6 catches in the game for Barber. That one for 58 yards. Wigman says go to the corner. And there's a lot of fighting one-on-one over there between Noah Thomas and Bryce Pollock. And Pollock makes the seatbelt sign. 2nd and 10.
The old seatbelt, I'll tell you what. Pollock's given up half a foot to Noah Thomas. That's almost an unfair fight. Noah Thomas long at 6'6". Bryce Pollock just 6'1", but they were hand fighting throughout that route. See A&M in unbalanced formation to the right side.
It's Daniels. Just past the 15. How does Mississippi State stop A&M on these 3rd downs?
They have repeatedly struggled. That last one was a bad snap. Pressure was getting there. As we mentioned, maybe a little bit of assist on the edge. Now the question will be, here in the red zone, does Mississippi State dial up pressure again? It looks like they're going to seek to play coverage.
Daniels comes into the backfield to join Connor on this 3rd and 4. And he gets it. And it's a 1st and goal inside the 10.
You see Mississippi State, they shifted that 3-down line, just 3 big bodies near the line of scrimmage. Almost invites a downhill run. Mississippi State has been opportunistic in the red zone. They have 3 red zone takeaways already this season. That's the 2nd most in the entire FBS. Had one last week in the end zone versus Georgia.
Daniels out, Moss back in. Le'Veon carrying state defenders near the goal line. Touchdown.
Just such a physical runner. I mean, just this guy, you're not going to bring him down at first contact. We see it over and over again. 404 yards coming into this game, yards after contact from Moss. And once again, the Aggies do a great job of creating angles on the line of scrimmage.
Mike Elko, the head coach, and Colin Klein, the offensive coordinator, have said Le'Veon Moss has done everything necessary to be a leader in the program, in the weight room, in the meeting room, and on the football field. The physical finish gives the Aggies the lead.
He's in trouble. Now throws. Wide open, Jamian Lewis. Another Mississippi State touchdown.
And that was an easy run for Dak Prescott.
Straight ahead is Robinson. He walks in. Touchdown, Mississippi State.
The first ever #1 ranked team in the college football playoff in 2014, the Mississippi State Bulldogs. It finished 11th in the AP poll, 10-3 record, went to the Orange Bowl that year. Certainly put Starkville, Mississippi on the national map. Aggies score on that last drive, lead 14-7 as State is prepared for their 3rd possession on offense. And the man that was the head coach of that team is now in the booth. You know what? You're supposed to have the weekend off from ESPN.
And I'm back in here with you guys.
We're back in here with you.
You know what? Hey, Matt and Joey are tying it down up in Bristol. This is much more fun being here in the game environment, being with all the former players. So good. We had a great reception last night, having all those guys back, getting everybody together for the first time in so long. It was amazing.
Your wonderful wife, Megan, and your children are here with you, and it just feels like all the nostalgia is pouring in over this weekend.
You know, I mean, like everyone comes like, hey, boy, we love you guys. They want that feeling back that we had, as you saw, winning those, 3 consecutive wins over top 10 teams. And that group was just a special group. And it was a lot of fun. I mean, you get them all together. They not all 5-star kids. They're guys that had a chip on their shoulder that worked and developed and became great.
Yeah, you think about it, you talk about putting Starkville on the map. Stark Vegas started with y'all, with that team.
Oh, yeah.
Was that a phrase you coined? You think about Spurrier always says, I named the swamp. Oh, okay. Stark Vegas, did that start at the Mullen House?
It did. I think it was us and Adidas called and said, we want to try to do something cool. What do you think of Stark Vegas? I'm like, I'm all in. We had some cool shoes.
Off the back foot there, it's complete to Daniels out of the booth, rather out of the backfield. There's a first down for the Aggies. There's for Mississippi State out of the backfield. There's a pickup of 17 as State and Van Buren on offense now. A lot of maroon and white here today with A&M and Mississippi State. And I know that you've gotten rather close to Jeff Lebby.
Yeah.
In fact, we were a little late in our meeting yesterday because
I was hanging with
you were talking his ear off, and he is raving about the relationship the two of you have as we watch this first down here. True freshman quarterback Van Buren. Time to throw there, and a good ball again to Craver, out of bounds in a first down in Aggie territory. And Jeff Lebby says he wants to build it like you did around this state.
It is, and that's critical. I think that's where everyone has to understand that the majority of the team, the foundation was Mississippi kids, and we had some Alabama and Louisiana and some Memphis, Tennessee kids. And you know, everybody was basically within a 5-hour radius, and that's what made it so tight, made it such a family atmosphere. And, you know, I explained to everybody, you know, we always said, and it's all the people. You know, I said, hey, do we need to win first for you to show up, or do you show up and make us win? And all these fans, early on when I was here, this end zone wasn't here when I got here. It was, you remember those old, old. And you know what? The fans bought in right away. They believed in our team. They showed up, started selling out the stadium. We expanded the stadium, and they created this atmosphere that allowed us to build a consistent top 25 team.
Well, I think it's like Mount Mullen over there, brother. It's like Dak Peak. It's Prescott Peak over there. This is Mount Mullen. That's great. But this offense is more reminiscent to me of what you were doing, where you're going to run the football, sure, play action shots downfield, a little bit of an element, a little bit of tempo. Does it remind you, obviously not a duplicate, but what your blueprint was offensively?
Van Buren's taking a shot, and it's caught inside the 10. That's Kevin Coleman, first and goal, Bulldogs.
You know they're going to go fast here.
Catch them on their heels.
Coach Levy teams, you hit an explosive. They can't get this play called fast enough.
Yeah, maybe 10 to 12 seconds later to get the Aggies on their heels, and the true freshman quarterback will snap this down near the 7. And he keeps it. He's tackled in the backfield. What are your thoughts on this this Mississippi State offense that Levy's running?
Well, I think they're doing a fantastic job. And you watch with a true freshman quarterback, I've been impressed with him. And not, obviously, we see athleticism. Probably should have gave it right there on the zone replay. But he doesn't just get away with it. His pocket presence and his ability to stand in the pocket and the accuracy of how he throws the football, he's really impressive.
Sanford was in the backfield there, Stench. A loss on the play. Second and goal outside the 10. Van Buren wants to throw it. It's deflected. Tried to get it to Booth out of the backfield. Albert Reed just got a hand on it.
Yeah, that's what they ran for the first touchdown, that little pick play with the back and the flat. And but you know what? I think Coach Levy, yes, they're trying to get the right. They got it. Safety did a nice job passing over the top, but got the hands up defensively.
Working against that true freshman. Really excited about work over there. Just got to learn how to get those big guys' hands down, get them out of the passing lane.
Yeah, you got go low on that. A little cut block.
Yeah, I love a cut block right there.
A quick throw.
The third and goal. How aggressive does Van Buren get here? Gets out of trouble. And is out of bounds near the 7. There's a flag down as Will Lee laid the lumber there, but there are flags on the field.
Van Buren, a little hitch in his giddy up after that one. I think they're going to get the freshman at left tackle on this. Wow.
Building a formation, offense, 5 players are in the backfield. Number 76 was not on the line of scrimmage. The penalty is declined. Result of play is 4th down.
So 4th down and then a chip shot field goal opportunity for Kyle Ferry. Dan, as we look at this formation here and we see.
Yeah.
They're saying
the fans don't agree. You heard the fans. They disagreed with that one.
And then the hit by Will Lee here at the end.
That's a clean shot. He's definitely in the field of play still.
We're going to let you enjoy everything with your 10-year anniversary with all these kids, but just a final thought from you on being back here with those kids you accomplished so much with.
It's so amazing. Such great kids, and you know this. There's nothing better than a team, and the closeness that team has, how everyone's together all the time, and how you build those relationships. Getting everybody together 10 years later is absolutely amazing. We had such a great time.
I love how much it means to the entire Mullen family. It's great to have you back in Starkville, Vegas.
With the Mississippi State family, it's great to be home.
(14-10), Texas A&M leads Mississippi State with 6:30 to go in the second quarter. SEC football presented by Sonic with Matt Stinchcomb. I'm Taylor Zarzer. Ashley Stroline on the field for us with all this maroon and white, half the field covered in sunshine A beautiful fall Saturday in Starkville, Mississippi. Great fun to visit with Dan Mullen. Tell how fired up he is to be back here, a place that means so much to him. Aggies are about to get it back on offense at the 25, down to Ashley.
Yeah, guys, well, Le'Veon Moss shared with me that who he plays the game for is his family. He has 2 young sons. There's Le'Veon Jr., who just turned 3, and his other son, Love, who is 4 months old. Moss says he loves going out there, showing out, and being a good role model for them. I asked him, I said, well, might you have 2 future football players on your hands? He says, I'm not going to tell them what sport to play, but I will tell them if it's football, maybe don't be a running back. The longevity of this position isn't too long. He says Le'Veon Jr. is a lefty, so he's going to go quarterback for him. He says that he thinks Love's going to be pretty tall, so he'll be a receiver. Dynamic duo there, and Coach Elko joked they've already offered Le'Veon Jr. An offer to be an Aggie in the future.
A lot to cheer for in the Moss house this year, and he gets it on the first carry of this drive and gets up near the 29-yard line. You think he was a sort of a spot player the last couple of years now. Devon Achane is one of the better running backs in college football, and now is one of the better running backs in the NFL for the Miami Dolphins. But this guy has become a star in his junior season.
Yeah, and some of the emergence, too, of Amari Daniels, I think last time out versus Missouri, to complement Moss out of the backfield. He's certainly an electric runner, big physical runner after contact.
On a 2nd and 7, Wigman, plenty of time, overshoots his intended target and throws it to Mississippi State. Hunter Washington was playing center field.
Wigman was late with this throw. He had an opportunity over the middle earlier, and he's just off. Ball is high and behind Watson. Maybe before release gets behind the linebacker level, he can go there with the football. It was just an off-target throw, something that we really have not seen from Wigman. See that ball almost like it slipped out of his hand coming out.
It's the first interception that any Aggie quarterback has thrown since the Notre Dame game in week 1. He threw 2 that week. Reed or Wigman hasn't thrown one until game number 7 of the season.
But Mississippi State, it's only their 4th pick of the year.
And now with a short field, Van Buren steps up, throws a bullet down to the Aggie 40, and Coleman makes the catch for 7.
How about the arm angle on that throw from Van Buren? I mean, just shot that ball in there as he's stepping up in the pocket.
Mississippi State has been terrific creating turnovers these last few weeks to keep them in games against top 15 teams. And on 2nd and 3, Daniels is met in the backfield. Scooby Williams with the tackle for loss.
A nice play by Scooby Williams. A guy that started out as a Gainesville, Florida kid. Familiarity perhaps with Jay Bateman coming over there with him. And
played for our last guest. A couple of the A&M defenders, Jaden Hill and Scooby Williams, went to play for Dan Mullen, and now both play at Texas A&M. Two-yard loss on the play. Play clock under 5 on a 3rd and 5 for Van Buren. Here comes the Aggies. Get it off on a run as Regis makes the tackle on Daniels. It's 4th down.
And had an opportunity. That ended up being edge pressure. So you can see the Aggies kind of tip their hand early. You see maybe the impact of having a true freshman out there. Could not make an adjustment. Jay Bateman able to dial up that edge pressure.
Offense still on the field. Inside the Aggie 43. They got to get it near the 37. They're 2 for 2 on 4th down.
You could see the Aggie defense signaling. So offense checks, they check. They even changed the shell now. 2 deep safeties rotating deeper. And a timeout from Mississippi State. Little cat and mouse at the line of scrimmage.
And a reminder after us, it's Florida hosting Kentucky in the Swamp. It's also available on the ESPN app, so you can watch anywhere. Just hated to see Graham Mertz suffer that injury last Saturday night in Knoxville, Tennessee. Mertz is out for the season. That means it's next man up for DJ Lagway. No more sharing time. It's his job now as the starting quarterback.
You know, prior to that Tennessee game, we saw them versus UCF. Lagway, interestingly, albeit maybe the more mobile of the two, the Gator offense was pushing the ball downfield with higher frequency and success when Lagway was in there. Mertz did a better job distributing the football, managing the offense, but Lagway brought that explosiveness. Now, what does it look like where once again he has to carry the load entirely? They kind of settled in to that QB rotation for the Florida Gators.
What an afternoon and night of SEC football, including this tight game. Van Buren on 4th and 5. It's intercepted. Scooby Williams gets it back, and he's going past the Mississippi State offense inside the 30. Not just a turnover on downs, a turnover. And the Aggies will have a short field.
Nick scored right here. Watch number 11. Just wins right now. Beat Albert Reese out of his stance. And right there, you just cannot afford to be wrong over the middle. We saw it earlier with Connor Wigman. Now the true freshman makes a mistake, throws it right to Scooby Williams. And you can see one momentum shift. Mississippi State can't capitalize on the takeaway. And A&M, you see him getting coached up. Jeff Lebby's over there saying, hey, look, don't turn into a catastrophe. It's a bad snap. Let's eat that football. At the very least, you can play field position.
No doubt that Lebby is laying a foundation for how his team wants to play, but a big mistake there. Moss ahead past the 25.
The concern is with the young player, 4th down, that you feel maybe a higher sense of urgency than you should. Be smart with the football right there. Yeah, you're going to give up yardage, but you don't want to turn the football over there.
35-yard return for Williams.
Flips the field.
Texas A&M still has all 3 of their timeouts, and they have the 2-minute timeout.
See if they toss it to the left. They've done that numerous times out of this formation.
On a toss, Moss hit near the 21-yard line. It looked like Isaac Smith got part of Le'Veon's headgear. No call, though. 3rd and 2.
Multiple times where they get that bunch formation right off the edge. They create angles. You got your receivers blocking down. You get some big bodies pulling out and around. That time, Isaac Smith, once again from Mississippi State, able to diffuse that toss play. Mike Elko looking for yet another 3rd down conversion.
They're 6 for 6. Daniels. This time, State stops him. Isaac Smith again, the leading tackler for the Bulldogs all season.
Back-to-back plays. We've seen him do this before, so watch him. Here he is. He's on the back side of this play. The point of attack is to the left, but look, unaccounted for. And a sure tackle. That's not an easy thing to do. Now, granted, that isn't Le'Veon Moss. It's Amari Daniels. Great play.
Back for this 4th and 3 in just a moment.
Auto Owners Insurance halftime report coming up shortly. During Watson will show you Missouri's nice comeback. Bama, Tennessee, I would venture to say the game we're watching is prettier than that one. How about Mississippi State?
How about Mississippi State's improvement the last couple weeks?
Yeah, defense holding Texas A&M at the 50 yards of rushing. This is a good rushing team, so keep that up.
All right, we will see you in just a few.
It's been fun, Dari, and on 4th and 3, the Aggie offense is staying out there. Up 4, 4th and 3, need to get to the 18 to move the chains.
Mississippi State selling out on defense on the line of scrimmage.
Wigman to throw, pressured, throws. Flags everywhere. It is incomplete. Hunter Washington was out there with Ja'Day Walker.
went cover 0. Kind of reminiscent of what they saw versus Texas right before the end of half. Pressure on the passer. This time no
Pass
completion.
interference, defense number 21. The foul occurred in the end zone. Correction, the ball will be placed 15 yards to the previous spot and recorded an automatic first down.
There's no doubt that Walker jersey was grabbed by Washington, the man that got the interception on the last possession. But he probably prevented a touchdown.
He did. The ball was definitely hung up there. Not even really a back shoulder, was so far upfield. But it did the trick for the Aggie offense with a fresh set of downs.
And Mike Elko rolls the dice, and now it's a 1st and goal just outside the 5. Daniels, wide open hole, spins into the end zone. The Aggies could have taken the 3 points and been up 7. Instead, they go for it, and now they're up double digits.
After the pass interference, challenge it downfield. They get it to Amari Daniels. We mentioned Le'Veon Moss. Daniels showing out as well at running back. Able to muscle his way through a couple of would-be tacklers. And the Aggies able to capitalize. You know, I mentioned it going into half versus Texas a couple of games ago. Mississippi State dials up pressure. They end up giving up a big touchdown throw to the Longhorns. This time the Aggies able to capitalize on the pass interference and then punch it in.
Saw Colin Klein up there in the box. He was running a K-State offense very similar to that as a player and as an offensive coordinator. And now the Aggies are up 11. As much as we talk about Le'Veon Moss, Amari Daniels has been quite the closer. 2 touchdowns in the last game against Mizzou and a touchdown today.
Yeah, he's their red zone finisher. You get it down here in close. Nice cut. Runs right through the would-be tackle of Puka, and great job finishing in the end zone. That Aggie drive, both these teams rolling the dice repeatedly on 4th down. When you think about the missed opportunity for Mississippi State, you get a takeaway, you're in plus territory, you give the ball back on an attempted 4th down of your own. Ends up creating, as you mentioned, a 2-possession lead now for Texas A&M.
And Texas A&M gets the ball first in the second half, so this feels like an important drive upcoming for Mississippi State.
No question. You want to answer right here. You would have lost that middle quarter. You think Mississippi State used a timeout early, opening possession on the 4th down. They ended up capitalizing, able to convert on that 4th down. Just the 1 timeout left here inside of 2 minutes.
State will start at the 25-yard line. Michael Van Buren pressed into action after Blake Shapen was injured in the 4th game of the season against Florida. Shapen is out for the season, though he has remained a constant presence in this true freshman Michael Van Buren Jr.'s ear. And Buren's first 2 college starts, there's Shapen at number 1 Texas, at number 5 Georgia, and now hosting number 14 Texas A&M today. Coach Levy said it will never get harder than this. Go to the ground with Booth, and Booth falls forward past the 30. State has 1 timeout left.
You can see A&M here, just the 3 down linemen in there. Last time bailed out their linebackers, given run looks.
2nd and 4, gets out of there, 1st down, and gives himself up at the 39. Under 2 minutes, the clock stops for them to move the chains.
In the 2-minute drill, this is their standard operating procedure. Their really preferred mode.
Pressured, Van Buren sneaks out, and again gives himself up, only got a couple of yards. Clock will continue to run.
Mississippi State, a little bit more deliberate right there. Weren't quickly into their stances when the ball was set.
2nd and 8. Michael All the way back to the 25. Throws up the field with flags down. It's Akari, a first down catch. And Scorton still down at the 44-yard line. The flag was picked up. There is a conversation going on with the officials here.
And Nick Skurton did a great job covering down on this play. He was rushing, and just covered down after the completion.
That's nothing to boo about. This was not to
stop
the clock. This was a true injury.
So watch number 11, see him coming in. Tried to hatchet the ball out. Just kind of goes down kind of awkwardly. But as you mentioned, Taylor, to do that right there, it's not an advantage for the defense necessarily. You can see him, it looked like he landed hard on that left arm.
Transfer from Purdue has lived in opponents' backfields so far this year for Jay Bateman, Mike Elko, and the Aggie defense. Clock begins to run again, 45 seconds left in the half. Van Buren throws, and a good ball to Akari. Kelly's inside the 25. 22-yard completion down to Akari for 2 touchdowns at Georgia last week.
They may catch A&M. You see Mike Elko had to take a timeout. He was trying to substitute. And it looked to me like, guys, it looked like Regis was trying to substitute off the field. I'm not sure he wanted to do it right there. Was worried he was going to get caught with too many on the field.
Coach Elko furious about that situation. How about the last play here? Never went down. There's been constant pressure.
He's done an excellent job of managing the pocket, Taylor. A lot of times where he gets to the top of his drop and he's pushing up in the pocket, the rush lanes, not great discipline by A&M. Now, Van Buren's not a great runner, but you can see you want to keep him caged. That time they're rushing past the depth of the quarterback, and repeatedly we've seen Van Buren escape up and through the pocket.
Over 300 yards passing at Georgia, over 150 yards passing in the first half against one of the best defenses in college football in Texas A&M.
Now the first down, just outside the red zone and a timeout in your pocket. Plenty of time with 37 ticks on the clock.
Van Buren tried to dump it off, and it's incomplete. It was Booth, but he picked it up off of the hop. 2nd and 10.
He ends up having to kind of jump to get this off. That time you can see Regis trying to get in there. See a little jump pass. Usually you run that on the 2-yard line. He's trying to get the ball out.
Probably best that he didn't catch it.
Yes. It cost him about 5 seconds, but just as well. Would have been a negligible gain with the clock running.
Berry has made from 47 yards. He's yet to attempt a field goal over 50 this year, so they're well within his range. Van Buren's thinking about 7. Traore inside the 10. There are flags in the backfield.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number 4. The penalty's half the distance from the end of the run. It'll be first down, Mississippi State.
Shamar Stewart on the penalty, Traore on the catch.
Well, he won. You see it's the follow through. He gets in there, he's trying to bat the ball down, he follows through, and man, I'm not seeing it. That was very limited contact. Really surprised that a flag came out right there.
26 seconds to go in the half. State has one timeout left.
We'll see if State goes back to that pick play that we saw. They kind of screened and leaked it back out into the backfield. Well, they had at least initially a similar formation. They ran it out of early.
Van Buren wants to end zone. Caught! Mario Craver, touchdown. Option 1 wasn't open. Option 2 was. And Ferry makes it a 4-point game, an important answer before A&M gets the ball to start the second half.
Like you mentioned, Taylor, a lot of eye candy in the backfield. Didn't like what he had initially and able to find Craver. I think Mississippi State is excited about what they have offensively. You got a true freshman in Craver. You got a freshman in Van Buren. And how your freshmen managed that 2-minute drill repeatedly, as you mentioned, the pocket collapsing, escaping upfield, scrambling when he needed to, buying time to get the ball downfield, and you see it there. Wow.
The last guy to do it is watching here in the stadium today.
He's inspired.
Meade will leave one of the more respected cover corners in college football. Transferred to Texas A&M from Kansas State. It is always great to be sent to Stark Vegas on an SEC Saturday.
Oh, what a contest this has turned out to be.
Coming up at halftime, you can watch the live performances of the Fighting Texas Aggie Band and the famous Maroon Band on SEC Network Plus. Start streaming now on the ESPN app. There will not be any play-by-play of that, and you will get to determine which band is which.
That is going to be tricky, huh? Interesting. We'll see if A&M's got a couple of timeouts in their pocket, how aggressive they are right here.
We've seen State play such soft coverage all season on defense, still giving about 5-10 yards of separation, but instead E.J. Smith will run it up to the 29-yard line. And let's see if Coach Elko just sends it to the half. He will. How about that first half? Wigman threw for 121 yards, converted 6 third downs and a 4th down. And Michael Van Buren threw for 173 yards. We got a good one in Stark Vegas. And Ashley's with Coach Elko.
Coach Elko, defensively, what does your team need to clean up here at the half?
Everything. We got to start playing defense the way we know how.
And offensively, only 55 rushing yards in the first half. How do you get the run game going?
Yeah, they're loading the box. I think we're doing a good job on offense, throwing the ball. I think we've made some explosive plays. We'll figure some ways to loosen them up.
All right, Coach, thanks.
Thanks.
You can tell that defensive-minded man wants to see a better performance from that group in the second half. The Auto Owners Insurance Halftime Report is right now with Dari Noka.
All right, TZ, thank you much. It is the Auto Owners Insurance Halftime Report. Chris Doering, Benjamin Watson in here with me. I don't know how, I know if you're an Aggie fan right now, you're not, but it's hard to otherwise not be a fan of Michael Van Buren. They have found a dude.
Literally about to say the same thing. It's like Pavia, Van Buren right there.
Fantasy Football presented by Sonic on a perfect fall day in Starkville, Mississippi. And a good one between two teams that wear exactly the same colors. The difference in the game in the first half has been A&M has been almost perfect on third down, and State has thrown some punches on fourth.
There's no question they were willing to roll the dice early on, especially State in their opening possession, saying, look, we got to make hay while the sun shines early on in this game. They were able to do that. Fourth down conversions. A&M's actually been able to punch back, not just in converting those third downs, but also capitalizing on fourth down attempts.
Let's talk about this week's secret recipe, brought to you by Bush's Grill and Beans.
Well, the true freshman quarterback for Mississippi State growing up before our very eyes. It's kind of counterintuitive to think that the passing game could pace your offense with a true freshman versus one of the best defenses in the country, but that has certainly been the case. That 2-minute drill, that last drive before the half, especially impressive by Van Buren. Great poise by the young quarterback.
And so the Aggies will get it to start the second half at the 25-yard line, down to Ashley.
Hey guys, well, I just spoke with Coach Levy. He said he was very proud of Michael Van Buren's toughness and calm composure in the first half. He said he did a great job handling everything that was thrown his way. His advice to Van Buren to keep up that play in the second half is simply to take it one play at a time and take advantage of what's given to you. He said we're going to like the result of that.
Van Buren's been great, over 170 yards passing, over 100 yards rushing for Mississippi State, but it's Wigman and the Aggies that get it first in the second half. Le'Veon Moss did score a touchdown, but has been sort of quiet, at least by his standards.
Well, and you heard Coach Elko when he was visiting with Ashley right before half, talked about how Mississippi State loading up against the run. They're doing a good job along their defensive front, holding the point. Their defensive linemen not getting bounced off of that line of scrimmage. You have to think Chase Basantis at left guard, there's Shanahan in there. Maybe that has impacted some of the line play.
Moss got 4. Now the throw to Barber. Barber gets around the corner, past the 30-yard line. Appears he'll be just short of a first down. What a first half for Barber. Had 6 catches in the first half. That is his 7th of the game. Already has eclipsed his season total for yardage today with 87.
Third and very short.
Wigman ran right into the middle of that defensive front. And it looks like his head got across that yellow line.
Second effort. Initially looked like there was going to be a stalemate. Sometimes it takes a second for that surge to develop. Coleman Hutzler's got to be pleased with how his defense has played, especially versus the Aggie run game.
Unable to get off of the field on third down. Plenty of time for Connor here. Doesn't take off much, but does, and dives ahead near the 45-yard line. It's a pickup of 9 for the sophomore from Cypress, Texas. Over 100 yards rushing on the season now for Connor.
Just shy of the sticks. Aggies lined up quickly.
And hand it to Moss. And Moss heads near midfield to the 49 where Russell made the tackle. Moss, career best 138 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns in the win against Mizzou 2 weeks ago. Better in every way on and off the field this year. As Ashley told you in our open, Coach Colin Klein said Moss has become a culture driver in season 1 of the Elko era. Was a first down, almost picked off there as they tried to swing it to Moss out of the backfield. Nick Mitchell wanted that one.
Well, if he wanted it, he could have had it, because he is right underneath this route. Watch Mitchell, just reads the quarterback's eyes, sees it, Saw Moss as he getting upfield, and he cannot believe it. Out there doing the worm in disgust. Should have been a pick, might have been a pick six. Aggies lucky to maintain possession.
The Mitchell family has 4 kids playing college football right now. Justin actually is just done at Harvard. The rest of the Mitchell family playing football, and I know they wanted that one too. 2nd and 10. Wigman has time. Complete. And after the catch, Allen gains the first.
A great job by Allen after the catch. Circling and then getting upfield quickly. As we mentioned, Mississippi State, oftentimes they'll allow you to catch the ball in front of them. It looked like the Bulldog defense was going to bring pressure. And when they checked, they still ended up bringing pressure from the field side, from what looked to be the coverage side. Aggies did a good job of picking it up.
On the sweep, it's Barber. And he is hit at the 35-yard line. It's a handful for Barber there, tackled by Mitchell on the play. And a reminder, Terry Bussey, the freshman from Timpson, Texas, who's been dynamic in the return game and on plays like that all season, is unavailable today, warmed up, unable to go. So Barber has come in and has basically been replicating what Bussey gives them and has had the best game of his season. Now Daniels falls forward. It'll be another 3rd down after another Nick Mitchell tackle.
Great job by Ashun Shepard. Watch this penetration by 98 right here. Watch it jet upfield to disrupt this entire play. So you got to get a back block by the center because your left guard is pulling. And Shepard did a great job. Messed up the timing, the entire dynamic of the offensive backfield. And the cowbells are clanging.
10th play of the drive. Another run. Daniels, another first. Aggies are 8 for 9 on 3rd down today.
It's just been outstanding. 3rd downs no longer daunting. This is standard operating procedure. Get 1st and 2nd down. Let's just get it to 3rd so we can convert. It's almost like they're anticipating the 3rd down attempts, repeatedly finding ways to sustain drives.
Daniels hobbled a bit, is off the field. Moss is back in. Fake the Le'Veon one-on-one ball. Caught! Wow, what a catch by Ja'Day Walker. Flag comes in at the end of the play.
You see Bryce Pollock was saying right away, oh, he pushed off on me.
Repeat 1st down.
The top of your screen started out on the SEC logo. Oh, wow. A little bit. It definitely was not egregious.
Negates an incredible catch.
Man. Pollock was politicking for it right away.
It's the 3rd penalty on the Aggies. And instead of 1st and goal, it's 1st and 25 back near the 40. Moss will get a few.
Good job by Russell. I mean, once again, Mississippi State came into this game with not a ton. In fact, the worst in the conference in negative yardage plays, but repeatedly, they might not get the tackle in the backfield, but they're getting penetration enough to make the running backs of the Aggies stop their feet before they get to the line of scrimmage.
Connor gets it out, and no, it's almost picked off. Jumping the route was Corey Ellington, and he was thinking about 6.
You see, once again, look, they're playing off coverage, and Wigman, he thinks he can just stab one in there to Moss, who lined up out there, and Moss thought it was going to be a pick. You could see him. Wow. Back-to-back, not back-to-back, but twice now on this possession, where State could have come up with interceptions and maybe even touchdowns going the other direction.
The Aggies have pulled off 3rd down after 3rd down, but this is 3rd and Jackson. Across the middle, it's another completion and another first down. Hurdling defenders is Trey Watson.
So much time for Connor Wigman. He just stood back there, worked on his diploma or his doctorate, pushes the ball downfield to Watson, pops open. Wow, again, yet another 3rd and 10 plus. That's twice in this game where the Aggies have found a way to get a conversion. 3rd and 12 in the first quarter, and now a 3rd, and as you mentioned, Jackson, and they made it.
Now 1st and goal for Watson's 7th catch of the year. Connor, that one's dropped by Watson. 2nd down.
The state defense obviously looking to find a way to get a stop. Aggies twice on this drive. Lucky to keep the football. Could have been picks going the other way. Defensive coordinator Coleman Hutzler sitting over there going, hey, what do I got to do? He jumped the route twice, 2 drop picks, and then a 3rd down, a huge 3rd down conversion for the Aggie offense.
Almost 7 minutes of game time have gone off the clock on this first drive of the 3rd quarter.
Elko wants a timeout. He came running out. He was almost past the numbers.
Texas A&M has called their first charge timeout of the half.
When we come back, his offense will run its 15th play of the drive on the Mississippi State doorstep. Mississippi State has had plenty of chances to get off the field, almost picking off 2 Connor Wigman passes, and then Wigman converts on a 3rd and 23 to Trey Watson, and now Texas A&M will run its 15th play on the first possession of the 3rd quarter.
Well, we came into this half talking about it, Taylor. It's been the 3rd down conversions for A&M. That's been the story for them offensively all game.
This a 2nd and goal from the Bulldogs 10. And a run play that goes backwards. Amari Daniels was met in the backfield. Brandon Jennings was in the Georgia backfield last week, and now he's meeting Aggie tailbacks.
Along with Suleiman Paca, a couple of interior linemen able to find their way once again to get upfield. You're pulling offensive linemen, makes it really difficult to get downhill when you get penetration defensively.
How does Coleman Hutzler's defense impact Connor Wigman? Haven't been able to do it on 3rd down all day. The Aggies are 9 for 10 on 3rd down.
Both linebackers walked up in the line of scrimmage showing pressure, and they come.
Wigman throws not on the same page as his target, Cyrus Allen, and the Bulldogs finally get a stop.
Different look defensively, but similar philosophy. Coleman Hutzler said, I'm going to dial up some pressure, speed up the clock for Colin Klein and Connor Wigman. He unloaded that football, and it looked to me like Allen was expecting a back shoulder, front pylon throw.
Chip shot opportunity for Randy Bond from 29 yards. One of the best ever to kick in College Station. Makes it a 7-point game. Over half of the quarter is gone, and Mississippi State will finally get the ball. You're watching SEC football presented by Sonic. Connor Wigman and Texas A&M lead Mississippi State 24-17 after the longest drive of the season. 17 plays, 64 yards in 7 minutes and 50 seconds, but only 3 points were scored by the Aggies there.
They should be thrilled they got 3 points. It easily could have been 6 points going the other direction on a couple of occasions with 2 near pick 6 opportunities.
Hey, remember Michael Van Buren and the Mississippi State offense?
Hopefully they didn't leave the stadium disinterested after half a quarter melted away.
There he is.
Oh,
he
he's
was
still here.
Terrific in the first half. 173 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. He did throw a 4th down interception. But as a true freshman in his first few weeks of action against stiff competition in relief of Blake Shapen, Van Buren has shown tremendous potential and appears to be the quarterback of the future for State.
The way he engineered that end of half drive, touchdown scoring drive, was pretty masterful. A lot of pressure on the true freshman. Managed it well. Better hurry.
Not going to get it off. Those are the sort of things that Jeff Lebby knew he was going to have to deal with.
Lebby saw
it's never easy to handle.
No, he was aware of it, chose not to burn a timeout there.
So now 1st and 15 instead. And a handoff that's going the wrong direction. Shamar Turner just about took the ball from Devon Booth.
Turner, we talk about the penetration Mississippi State's been able to get. A relatively quiet game for the defensive front of A&M. That time Turner able on the heels of a penalty to negate any upward or forward motion.
7th tackle for loss for one of the best defensive lines you'll ever see in college football. On 2nd and 17, Van Buren is sacked. Never had a chance. Scooby Williams all over him. There's a flag down at the end of the play.
Holding, defense number 18. The penalty is 10 yards from the previous spot and includes an automatic 1st down.
They call it on Cassius Howell. Traore was trying to release. You see the pressure right up the middle. Really didn't need to happen. They're running a heavy play action, so you're pulling your right guard. You should be able to pick this up. Instead, once again, you know, it's just eyes. You lose track of who you can pick up. Regardless, big penalty there to get a fresh set of downs.
Feels massive, right? Would have been 3rd and 25 inside your own 10. Instead, a fresh set of downs. And Booth is trying to go forward. Torian York with another tackle, and now 2nd and 8.
And you wonder, so is this where the Aggie defensive front, we came into this game talking about them, do they assert themselves? Mississippi State's done a relatively good job running the football in this game.
Sorts of movement in the backfield. That ball's deflected, incomplete. It was Cassius Howell. They got both hands on it.
It's a couple times that we've seen is Nick Scorton coming back into the game. Watch Cassius Howell. Ooh.
Both hands and a helmet on it.
Nearly. So we've seen now, you know, back-to-back offensive possessions, 3 near picks. See Nick Scorton back on the field, was shaken up at the end of the half last time. Here he is.
And Buren is got people in his face again, just has no time back there. And Samford got a hand on the ball that time. 4th down.
You see Scorton, he's still shaking up a little bit after that pass rush. Just so many. Look at all these bodies. So who's coming? Turns out almost everybody. More than you have. Samford through the middle, Scorton off the edge. Van Buren, that was an ill-fated drive, almost from the get-go, Taylor, with the delay of game.
And it's clear that Mike Elko, one of the best offensive minds in the game, wasn't going to tolerate the lack of pressure that his defense Was unable to get in the first half. Punting opportunity for Nick Barmira, but it's a fake. And the Aggies sniff it out. Xavier Gayton ran it. There are flags on the field. Miles Davis came up to make the tackle. Well, what's this flag about?
Holding, offense number 11. The penalty is declined. Results play as a first down.
Taylor, I'm surprised that we saw it right there. This wasn't a short yardage conversion opportunity. I mean, they had that big shift. I'm not sure what it is that Mississippi State saw right there. One possession game. And if it doesn't go, then you're ceding excellent field position.
And you had 3-4 Aggies that had a chance to make the tackle there.
I don't know if it doesn't look as if, sometimes you'll see punters that think that they see an opportunity to take off with it. That's not the case. They shifted to a different look and then snapped it to the up back. What would otherwise be the personal protector? That play looked almost dead on arrival, pre-snap.
And a short field for Wigman to take a shot. And a good ball down near the 15 where Thomas was waiting on it.
Wide open. Almost by himself on the 15-yard line. Thomas again, we see it, double move. Gets completely turned around in coverage, did Diego Brumfield. Aggies right back, knocking on the door. You think about that last one with the field goal with the 2 near picks.
Daniels inside the 10.
You see Trey Zune, the left tackle for the Aggies, a little bit shaken up. Looks like he's going to stay in there, but he's holding his right hand.
Trey Zune should play for the Maroon Goons, as the Aggies' offensive line is always affectionately been called. 2nd and 5. Oh, and this time Daniels fake to him. Wigman gets out on the edge. And Bryce Pullock was able to stop him. It'll be 3rd and short.
Waiting to see this happen. Mississippi State was crashing harder and harder from the backside. That chase defender has been getting there. Oftentimes Isaac Smith. That time Wigman finally pulled it to make him pay.
Colin Klein has been terrific as a play caller for the Aggies on 3rd down all day. Daniels. Net right in the hole, right near that yellow line by Stone Blanton. There's a flag down.
Illegal substitution. Defense with 12 players on the field during the down. The penalty is half the distance from the previous spot, which results in a first down.
Yeah, flag came in. I was looking at the line of scrimmage. It's a lot of guys. I'm not going to bother to count them because we'll run out of time.
There are 9 on the line, 3 behind them, so that makes 12.
That's downright Susian. You're talking about Zunes and Maroon Goons, and now you're doing math.
Yeah.
A children's book. Regardless, it's 12.
Shout out to Huntington College in Montgomery, Alabama.
Another late substitution coming in.
And on this 1st and goal, at the doorstep, Daniels gets in.
You see Paca substituting in there late. A bit confusion.
Well, Daniels and Moss have been subbing in and out for each other, and that was Le'Veon Moss that got the touchdown. Half of his 8 was wrapped up on his uniform there. So give Moss the credit for his 2nd touchdown of the day. And Randy Bond makes it 31-17. This is set up by Jeff Levy's decision to allow his team to fake a punt deep in their own territory. They didn't get it. And Le'Veon Moss and the Aggies make them pay. Alabama and Tennessee are going back and forth. LSU plays at Arkansas tonight. Texas and Georgia. Feels like a postseason game in the middle of the regular season, but don't forget about Texas A&M. Ranked 14th in the country, undefeated in conference play, very much still in the conversation. And up 14 on Mississippi State. And here's your promo, Mr. Stinchcomb.
Tuesday at Eastern, 7 Central, right here on the SEC Network. We'll have our latest episode of True South. John T. Edge travels to Jasper, Alabama, to Brown's Deli and Package Store, as well as Bayou Fresh Seafood. He'll meet the Johnson and Evans family and hear father and son stories about how Jasper, an old coal mining town, has evolved. True South, 8 p.m., SEC Network.
Thank you, John T. Great to have you here today. A little razzle-dazzle there as Mario Craver on an end around gets a few yards.
All kinds of cameos up here in the booth.
Yeah, Dan Mullen here. I think he was really here. Craver back down on the ground. And Buren and Craver have both been terrific as freshmen. Craver is just one of 2 SEC receivers with multiple catches over 50 yards. And
getting chippy.
It is getting chippy.
It looked like it started kind of Cassius Howell. Boy, just about entire Aggie sideline, about half of it's emptied. Right there next to the script state there in the middle of the field. Getting a little chippy there towards the end of the half, Taylor, as well, right before the teams went to the locker rooms.
Mario is very slow to sit up there.
Ooh. He probably jammed his right leg. It looked like maybe it could have been that last twist. His right ankle.
Really got the offense going last week against Georgia with his 72-yard catch in the second quarter.
Started this game off hot, right, Taylor? First right out of the trap. They got the ball to him.
Not able to put any weight on that right leg.
That is one of their weapons, obviously a trusted one past couple of weeks, building on that performance from a week ago. 5 catches for 42 yards this afternoon.
Second and 7 from Van Buren. Throws, and it's a catch made by Akari for a first down past the 35. It's a slow developing play, but Akari was able to get open.
It really was. You're right. As you see, under pressure from Shamar Stewart, Van Buren once again able to deliver downfield. Looked like he had Kevin Coleman earlier, but the pressure pushed him off his platforms. Just able enough to get the ball downfield to Akari for the conversion.
That guy knows how to get open. Came over from UTEP. Over 1,000 yards receiving there last year. On first down, underneath, dropped by Daniels.
Not sure he would have gained much were he to have corralled that pass. Looks like Burnside subs in for Mario Craver, who they took inside for evaluation. So a new face in the receiving corps for Mississippi State.
That player you're talking about is at the top of the screen. Braylon's a freshman from right here in Starkville High School. one of the highest recruited players in this area. Daniels on second down, past the 40 to make it third and manageable.
A nice run that time for Daniels. It's been surprising somewhat this afternoon how successful State has been in running the football versus what is an otherwise really stout run defense for A&M.
Yeah, they held 4 straight under 100 yards rushing, but the Bulldogs are well over that number at the moment. And on that third down, it's complete to Coleman for a first down.
They fit that ball into a tight window. Van Buren able to put it in there. Coleman, the most targeted receiver in this offense, demonstrating why. He has not been able to get loose after the catch so far this afternoon.
40 catches on the season. Across the middle, a bullet too far in front of Braylon Burnside.
He wanted that one all the way. Had 3 receivers to the field side, the wide side of the field, and it looks like an A&M defender on the ground again. They weren't really in their tempo offense, and the fans aren't too agitated about this one.
And Nick Scorton has been banged up a couple of times today for Texas A&M. What a year he's had coming over from Purdue, where he was terrific in the Big Ten, 6th in the nation in tackles for loss so far this year.
Down there working on him again. Looked like maybe he was locking up, cramping up a little bit. there have been some long drives. You know, something Mississippi State talked about is that their front 4, as good as the Aggies are, and they do have depth, but number 11, number 4, number 5 for the Aggie defensive front, they get a lot of snaps, but they get off the field typically. Today, you know, State's done a good job of sustaining drives, and they've run 51 snaps. Jay Bateman talked about it. And their guys typically get off the field pretty readily.
Booth leaves the backfield on a 2nd and 10. Time this time, and Buren was right near the line of scrimmage, evidently didn't pass it. Seydou Traore is intended target on a dangerous pass.
Oh, very. I mean, just, you're talking about 3 Aggies converging on this throw with Sanford underneath it. State lucky to retain possession on that one. We've seen, what, 5? Is that 4 or 5 would-be interceptions? The defenses just have not been able to come up with some of these.
On 3rd and 10, here's the pressure. Van Buren has to get rid of it in confusion with Akari. He took a big hit.
They brought pressure from the boundary right off the edge. Bam. Big shot. He takes from Rylan Kennedy, and it looked to me like maybe he was expecting Traore, who broke off his route. Might have just been airing that one out to get rid of it.
Barmira out there to punt again. Texas A&M scored 3 points on a 17-play drive to start the scoring in this half. And then 2 terrific defensive stands by Mike Elko and Jay Bateman so far in this half. Remember what Mike Elko told Ashley right at the half?
Coach Elko, defensively, what does your team need to clean up here at the half?
Everything. We got to start playing defense the way we know how.
And here is the result in the 3rd quarter.
Well, this was on the drive, earlier drive, just went nowhere, nearly had another pick off a tipped ball, deflected at the line of scrimmage. But more than anything, Taylor, what's shown up is the pressure. They've dialed it up. They're trusting their back end to hold up, and they have gotten after Mike Van Buren repeatedly, speeding up the clock. You can tell that Jay Bateman and Mike Elko, who are both like-minded defensive coaches, decided to heat them up.
First down, Catch made by Allen. Good punt by Vermeer. Pin the Aggies deep. They get a few yards there, 4 to make it 2nd and 6.
Tremendous punt, no doubt about it. They rolled and rolled. The challenge for Mississippi State to crawl back into this game, right? You're running out of time here in the 3rd quarter. You did not see a lot of possessions because of that 17-play drive. But a chance to try to flip the field and shorten it for your own offense.
Don't think the Aggies have to snap this. Yep, that game clock is just barely ahead of the play clock. So they'll go all the way down to the other end of the field. Aggies up 2 touchdowns, trying to get to 6-1. Mississippi State in Starkville, Mississippi on a Saturday afternoon. What a backdrop against number 14 Texas A&M. And State's been fighting tooth and nail against another top 15 opponent. Aggies, though, dominated that 3rd quarter. Bulldogs unable to do much offensively, and Texas A&M scoring all 10 of the points. 2nd down here, and that is picked off. The last thing Connor Wigman could do. He threw it to Zachary Tillman.
Mississippi State's going to get a penalty. Oh, maybe not. Wow, I mean, their whole team left the team box. You can see the coaches are saying, you got to get back to the box, guys. It was set up by the amazing punt. It pins A&M deep, but the pressure from Stone Blanton, maybe on Moss, tried to come up there and pick up. Connor Wigman just throws it to the other team. What a huge swing of events.
The thing that's gotten A&M to 5-1 has been their protection of the football since losing to Notre Dame in the 5 straight wins. That's the kind of mistake you can't afford to make. And now Michael Van Buren in Mississippi State start shop at the 12. And a run to Booth. Maybe to the 10.
We saw earlier where the Aggie defense was able to turn the ball right back over to their offense off an earlier takeaway from Mississippi State. Can the Bulldogs capitalize on this excellent starting position? Akari singled up at the bottom of your screen.
Booth again met in the backfield, will lose the yardage he gained on the last play. Scooby Williams is lived back there.
Great job, Scooby Williams, just getting upfield. We talked about the negative yardage plays, the tackles for loss. They've kind of come in fits and starts in this game. Watch 0, it's a rundown blitz. He's able to beat the block right away. That's the 8th tackle for loss in this game for the Aggie defense.
Is it already 4-down territory for Jeff Lebby? You have over 14 minutes to go, but you're down 14 points. 3rd and 11. And on 3rd and 11, a great throw to Coleman. Touchdown. Coleman came out of the backfield and Van Buren hit him in stride, and then he let the Aggie defenders know about it. Game on in Stark Vegas. Connor Wigman threw it to Zachary Tillman, and Michael Van Buren and Kevin Coleman made him pay. This young man, a true freshman from Bowie, Maryland, Michael Van Buren, had 3 touchdown passes in Athens, Georgia against the top 5 Bulldogs last week. He has 3 touchdown passes against Texas A&M this week.
It's one of the more impressive performances we've seen this season. It's coming from a true freshman.
Brooks from the 2 doesn't make it to the 20.
The touchdown throw is to Coleman. Coleman's a receiver, but he's lined up in the backfield. Now watch, you're going to get a release and a release. Watch Coleman. Just kind of trails behind. The Aggie defense was still wide, got cleared out by the 2 potential receivers in front of him. A one-handed grab led by Mike Van Buren, and he ran right through the would-be tackle, and Van Buren's going to tell everybody about it. Letting big Shamar Turner know.
Turner tried to bow up on him there.
It started with that punt from Barmira, pinning A&M back deep.
How does Connor Wigman and Le'Veon Moss respond? Moss falls forward near the 21-yard line. Before that run, Moss with just 41 yards rushing in the game.
It's been relatively quiet for number 8. Mississippi State has done a more than solid job of bottling him up. Talking about one of the more prolific rushers from an average standpoint, one of the best, second most in the conference at nearly 7 yards a carry.
He got 4 yards there. They're not averaging 4 yards a carry today. He gets more than 4 here. It's a first down run out of the backfield. There is a flag down back near the line of scrimmage. For the moment, he's down to the 40.
The last time Moss got loose, that too was brought back by a flag.
Holding offense number 55. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat second down.
Armaj Reed Adams, the right guard.
You see him, yeah, working. I don't see it. I do not see a hold right there. And he got stood up. A great job by Ashan Shepard. I don't know. I did not see a holding penalty on that play.
You've mentioned a few times there have been some 50-50 calls, some judgment calls, some that were called, some that weren't. This one goes against the Aggies, 2nd and 16. Daniels in to spell Moss, and he gets up to the 15-yard line. This next situation, there's a Mississippi State defender down. It's DeMonte Russell.
He's had, we hadn't called his name a lot, but DeMonte Russell's done a pretty good job on the edge.
Senior from Provine High School in Jackson, Mississippi, still down. Tomorrow, Texas and Georgia tonight. 6th meeting all time. Haven't played in Austin since 1958. They've never played in Athens. They'll do that next year. And everyone on College Game Day picked the Texas Longhorns.
How about that? The Texas team, it certainly looks to be the most complete, maybe not the most tested team. And now the Aggies behind the sticks after that holding penalty.
DeMonte Russell is still out on the field as they're taking him off the field. You see in the corner there. You saw Armaj Reed Adams talking to the officials as we went to the break and everyone was laughing. That's because the officials called him instead of Demetrius Crownover for the holding penalty just a moment ago. We did see the replay. It was Crownover that held Corey Ellington, and that's why the Aggies are in this 3rd and 13 situation. Wigman gets it off. Smith, and he's tackled at the 20. Mississippi State has struggled to get off the field all day on 3rd down. They do this time.
Well, they bluffed like they were going to bring pressure from the boundary, the short side of the field. and instead ended up playing coverage and brought pressure from the opposite side. Just enough to make Wegman kind of push up in that pocket.
And Tyler White is in fact here in Starkville, Mississippi. The freshman from Southlake, Texas, is on to punt for the first time. Kevin Coleman standing at his own 35. White with a 46.1 average this season, and the left-footed punter kicks a beauty. And Coleman has to dive forward to make that catch on a 44-yard punt. How about the true freshman for Mississippi State, a quarterback today in his first start in Starkville?
He's been cool and calm the entire game. 306 yards in the week ago versus Georgia. They leaned on him hard, 37 attempts. That was more than he had in the previous 2 games combined. And then here today, you see matching those touchdown totals just on those 27 attempts. But more than anything else, Taylor, I keep going back to that end of half drive right before the end of the second quarter. Van Buren did an excellent job of managing the pressure, knowing when to scramble, keeping his eyes downfield. He's built on that here in the second half.
Rolling out, throws, incomplete. He had Mosley too. There's a flag down. It's near the Mississippi State bench.
Ineligible player downfield, offense number 72. 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
It's Cannon Boone.
Once again, Mississippi State, we saw this a little bit earlier. They start off a drive. Really, Boone just kind of drifted downfield on that one. It wasn't like an RPO. He just kind of drifted downfield before the ball came out of Van Buren's hands.
Van Buren hands it to Daniels. Johnny doesn't get anything. York and Williams.
You can see in this second half, obviously Mississippi State able to get that score off a short field. It's been a different Aggie defense. They have definitely tightened up.
Second and 15, again to the ground. And Johnny will give him a little more manageable situation as he gets ahead to the 39, where Ratcliffe makes the tackle down to Ashley.
Hey guys, Mario Craver is out for the remainder of this game. It is a lower leg injury and he will not return, but he is back on the sidelines supporting his teammates, cheering them on as they try and get a win here against the Aggies.
Yeah, he couldn't put any weight on that right leg, Ashley, after the injury just a little while ago.
Another, you got Cannon Boone in there at left guard as well for State. Kobe Jackson started the game inside for the Bulldog offensive front.
There's a little clock issue there, so reset the play clock. On a 3rd and 8. And that ball is deflected immediately. Van Buren went down as he tried to throw it to Coleman. 4th down.
We've seen that repeated.
Craver on the bench.
Yeah, it's. You see, he's done for the afternoon. Multiple deflections this game. A&M's done a great job of getting their hands up and in that passing lane.
Another punt for Barmira. You mentioned he did his job last time. This one is caught. There are flags on the field as Barber is tackled at the 22. 45-yard punt, 7-yard return.
I think they might get Mississippi State. They made contact before he had a chance to make this reception on the punt.
Kick catch interference, kicking team number 22. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul after enforcement to be first down, Texas A&M.
So Xavier Gayton to give Aggies more yardage with the ball, up 7.
SEC Network Football is presented by the Sonic $1.99 menu. Live free, eat Sonic. And in part by T-Mobile 5G home internet. Get internet how you want it.
Where I come from, they pronounce the second syllable bull. Not Knoxville or Starkville, Knoxville and Starkville. And one possession games in each of those towns in the fourth quarter. Wickman has the A&M offense on the field, up 7. He hands to Le'Veon Moss, one of the best tailbacks in the SEC, gets 6. Moss 51 yards rushing in the game. He's had 2 big runs, both called back by offensive penalties.
He's probably had 100 yards, 100 rushing yards brought back in those 2 penalties.
But should be fresh since just 13 carries in the game.
Good point. And this is the time where the best backs need to show up big for their offenses. Well, they're seeking to shorten the game and salt it away.
And it's a first down throw past midfield. Ja'Day Walker down to the 46. 16-yard completion.
There's a lot going on out here on the field. Away from the football. That time, Reed Adams and Corey Ellington getting mixed up on the opposite side on the numbers.
Still 10 seconds left on that play clock. Connor dumps it off. Wide opens Moss. And Moss gets the first down past the 35-yard line where he's tackled by Smith. Just snuck out of the backfield for 11.
He's all by himself. As you mentioned in the flat, you're talking about one of the best yards after contact offensive players, receiver, rushers in the conference. Said second in the SEC and able to just run through tackles.
It's just his 6th catch of the season. And Le'Veon runs forward near the 30 for 5 more, where he's tackled by Nick Mitchell. There is Coleman Hutzler-Stench, the first-year defensive coordinator for Mississippi State. He's coached linebackers at Alabama, Ole Miss, Texas, South Carolina, Boston College, Florida, New Mexico, and Stanford. Gets to be a defensive coordinator in the SEC for the first time at the age of 40. Going up against a first-year offensive coordinator in the SEC, Colin Klein. Wigman pumps off his back foot and throws it into his Aggie bench over the head of Jacob Bostic.
Kind of trips on himself a little bit. Actually, he gets hung up on Moss. Just get that ball out of there. You can see him going, So sets up a 3rd down. Mississippi State was able to sub some of their big bodies up front. A&M's really only been able to run 57 offensive plays. And prior to this 3rd down, the Aggies were just kind of putting the Bulldogs defense in a rock tumbler, turning it into 9-on-7.
Daniels on 3rd and 5. Falls forward. It will be 4th down to the 27-yard line. Now does Mike Elko elect to make it a 2-score game? He does. He brings in Randy Bond. Bond is 12 for 14, kicking field goals this year. This will be a 45-yard attempt to make it a 10-point game. Right through there. graduate from Plano, Texas, gives Coach Elko a 10-point cushion with 6:13 to go. Now let's look at Is It In You? Brought to you by Gatorade.
Well, last 4 scores in this game. Mari Daniels, Mr. Red Zone for Texas A&M, able to get in there. And then, of course, Mario Craver, who is now out of the game. Not an insignificant development. And Le'Veon Moss able to power his way into the end zone for the Aggies for a 3-yard rushing touchdown. And Kevin Coleman out of the backfield for Mississippi State. They kind of snuck him back there and then snuck him out to the route. He was able to bring it to a 1-score game. Now, of course, A&M, because of Randy Bond and his robotic-like efficiency as a kicker, able to make it a 2-possession ball game here late. Keep in mind, as we mentioned, Mario Craver out of this ball game, true freshman receiver from Mississippi State, and one of their key deep threats in their passing offense.
Short kick, but a fair catch is called, so Michael Van Buren will start at his own 25, down 10 with 6:13 to go in the game. Story of the game has been A&M's ability to convert on 3rd down, although they have not done it the last 3 times, starting 9 for 10. And Michael Van Buren continues to impress as a true freshman.
Well, only 43 yards here in the second half by this Mississippi State offense. Mike Elko talked about it. We got to start playing defense the way we know how to play defense. It's that simple. Well, they've certainly been able to do that so far.
They have been in Van Buren's kitchen. They've been deflecting pass after pass, and they do it again on 1st down here.
Yeah, it looked like Shamar Stewart was able to get his hand up late. Actually, it's kind of ricocheting around, ping-ponging around in there. Cassius Howell, I think, got his helmet in the passing lane. It's probably the 5th deflection we've seen in this game.
They'll go to the ground. Booth is able to squirt out of there and stay on his feet past the 40.
Great run by Booth right here. Good patience initially, and then ran through 3-4 tackles before finally he was roped to the ground. It looked like it was Johnny Daniels that snuck in there and popped it for that run.
And Buren pumps a couple times. Now a safety valve throw back to the middle of the field to Coleman. And he's going to lose yardage on the play and lose precious time.
Would have been better to just burn that. So they're trying to stick a completion in there, especially that far behind the line of scrimmage. They're trying to get the secondary of the Aggies to bite up. You mentioned, had a couple of quick, like a pump fake, right? He's looking for those quick horizontal throws. Aggie defense did not bite. Now Shamar Stewart being looked at by the Aggie training staff.
Well, you certainly want to win the game. That's the most important thing, but next to that is remaining healthy as the season continues. As Scorton's gone down a couple of times today. Stewart hobbling there now, and what is one of the better defensive lines you'll see in college football. A&M, of course, hosting LSU next Saturday in a game time that'll be determined tomorrow morning.
Looked like Stewart just got kicked in that high calf areas. Mike Elko seen both of his defensive ends limp off the field. Nick Scorton at the end of the first half, who's a little bit banged up here in the second half as well. And now Shamar Stewart. Scorton back on the field now for the Aggies, but obviously Stewart being attended to on the sideline.
2nd and 13 for Van Buren and Mississippi State. Across the middle, Traore just short of the first, up to midfield to make it 3rd and manageable.
Traore, one of the most targeted receivers, 2nd most targeted receiver on 3rd down for Mississippi State offensively. Been kind of quiet this afternoon.
On 3rd and 2, looks like Booth is right at that yellow line.
The line judge came running in and
they mark it short. Clock running on a 4th and a foot. Booth, hit, no. Scooby Williams met him as soon as he got the ball, and that's a turnover on downs.
Well, you see after the play, this has been happening. There was a little bit extracurricular, and there's been a lot of this. It really started late in the 2nd quarter, and it's now continued.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, defense number 17. The penalty is 15 yards. It will still be 1st down Texas A&M after not achieving a line to gain.
So it is a change of possession that gives the ball back to Texas A&M. But as you see over on the bench, the kind of decision that you don't want to see one of the better teams in college football make. How about that 4th down play?
Well, he ended up on the backside. Booth tries to sneak the ball backside, and Traore's got a decision to make. There's just not enough guys left. Scooby Williams, they ran out of blockers on the backside. Booth's trying to sneak it back there. Williams stayed home.
I'm a little surprised that Coach Levy and the team didn't challenge the spot on 3rd down.
I am too, and the head linesman came running out. It looked like he almost had it. I'm actually a little surprised they didn't bring the chains out, try to measure.
Connor Wigman and Le'Veon Moss can put the game away here with just over 4 minutes to go.
Yeah, right there on the 50-yard line. His coach is over there saying, hey, look, you mess around and you do that before the play's over and it's a free 1st down. By then the possession had already been established for A&M, but just penalties like that aren't necessary. Regis, a stalwart along that defensive front.
You see the scores going across the bottom of your screen. Missouri, the comeback victory against Auburn. South Carolina smokes Oklahoma in Norman, where Coach Beamer used to be an assistant. Vandy trailing Ball State early. Tennessee and Alabama going down to the wire under 2 minutes to go. Vols up 4 there. And Texas A&M trying to put this one away against a feisty Mississippi State team.
I mean, there's no question, regardless of the outcome here today, this Mississippi State team that we're seeing now is not the same team that we saw first couple outings this season through the Toledo game. Ever since Texas, they have definitely turned things around. Trying to get the crowd back into it now for this 2nd down.
Moss runs ahead. Still a lot of aggression away from the play. It'll be 3rd and 2. Missouri, Brady Cook battling injuries, comes back to beat Auburn 21-17. How about the Gamecocks? 2nd significant victory on the road this year. Did something similar at Kentucky that they did to Oklahoma today.
Well, South Carolina defense is something else, man. They have scored points. They've won games for the Gamecocks this year.
And Alabama just turned it over on downs against Tennessee with 1:55 to go in that game. And the Vols are up 4.
Wild, wild day with more football in front of us. A couple of great ones on the back end of this game. And a third down with A&M trying to put this one away.
I'm being told it's 4th down for Alabama, so not a turnover on downs just yet. 3rd and 2. And Moss is short.
Yeah. Looked like he got tripped up by one of his own guys in the backfield right as he was getting to the line of scrimmage. Yeah, he did. It looked like he stepped kind of on the feet of Reed Adams. He's pulling from his right guard spot. A little friendly fire in the Aggie backfield. And a lot of time still on the clock. Mississippi State used up their timeouts in a 2-possession ball game. You keep thinking back, Taylor. You can't help but think back to the ill-fated fake punt. It really cost, not just, it cost you points right away.
But then again, Connor Wigman did cost his team with that interception that he threw deep in his own territory. Wigman's thrown for 217 yards today, but another punting opportunity for Tyler White with 3:46 left. Booming punt, Coleman near his own 15-yard line, a 43-yard punt. You know, Matt, no matter what happens with this game or the rest of the way this season, you have to be impressed by the culture that Jeff Lebby is establishing in Starkville.
Question. I mean, we got to keep in mind, right? Mike Van Buren was not thought to be the starter coming into this season. You know, they've got true freshmen that are contributing. You're playing a true freshman rotating in there at left tackle. A lot of young talent on the football field that's played well for State. And really the way that they've turned it around in season. The win-losses have not necessarily captured the improvement that this State team has made.
3:40 to go, out of timeouts and down 10. Van Buren swings it out. Losing yardage is Daniels again. York has been everywhere.
Torian York, one of the brightest defenders really in the whole conference. That makes for the 10th tackle for loss for the A&M defense.
Van Buren steps up. Coleman with the catch. Just short of the first down.
Spun into the tackle that time, did Coleman. We mentioned him repeatedly. It makes sense you get the ball to him in space. He's a guy that can do damage after the catch. Just has not been able to get loose today.
And that ball deflected. Scooby Williams did it again. They have been all over Van Buren.
It really is remarkable. We've seen this over and over again. And oftentimes, State trying to get the ball to the left side of their formation. And the Aggies repeatedly able to get their hands, oftentimes their helmets. The ball's bouncing off of defenders.
So 4th down, Mississippi State out of timeouts. Needs a yard, couldn't get it last time. They do this time as Daniels moves the chains.
And now it's not just the yardage. In fact, you've got yardage to see. You know, Texas A&M is playing the clock, not as much the field. They're just bleeding the clock.
First down. Van Buren gets hit and throws it over his bench.
That time Cassius Howell was able to get home. Working against McKylan Pounders at left tackle.
Williams is down on the ground out there for Texas A&M. Looks like he's in some real pain too.
Van Buren, who did a good job of managing pressure that time. Howell able to get home, clean hit on the quarterback. And a couple of boos. It doesn't make sense. Once again, A&M's not trying to. There's no way they want the clock to stop. This is nothing intentional about this. See Scooby Williams, who has certainly been active today, both as a run defender and in the passing game.
Three-year player at Florida has come over and made an instant impact for Mike Elko and Jay Bateman on defense. This is a physical outfit Texas A&M has on that side of the football. Let's see if we can find what happened to number 0.
I think this is him right here. He's dropping back. I don't know what got him. He was grabbing the back of his leg.
So 2:16 left. And Buren throws and almost intercepted. He's looking for Traore. Cassius Howell had a hand on it.
Oh yeah. It's 18 on 18. Cassius Howell, he gets his hand up there at the last minute. Well, the Aggie defensive coaching staff, boy, are they excited about Cassius Howell. Transfer from Bowling Green.
On 3rd and 10, Van Buren throws. Coleman with the catch. It is a first down. Right at the 2-minute timeout. The Bulldogs continue to fight, but number 14, Texas A&M, is 2 minutes away from a 6-1 start overall and 4-0 in the Southeastern Conference. You gotta admire the passion Hail State has on an SEC Saturday. Barring a miracle, they're going to fall short against number 14 Texas A&M, but they fight. Tennessee beats Alabama. Texas A&M trying to remain with 1 overall loss. Van Buren throws the deep ball. Down there was Akari, but he was covered up by Des Ricks. Speaking of Alabama, the transfer from the Crimson Tide.
The fans wanted a PI. Hand fighting there. And yeah. Well, Ricks got his hands up at the end there. That ball's thrown well inside. Akari was going to run out of room.
Van Buren drifts, flags down as it's picked off. Des Ricks.
Flag came in from the back judge. Defensive holding, it looks like.
Prior to the pass, holding defense number 20. It's a 10-yard penalty from the previous spot and includes an automatic first down. The clock will start on the snap.
It's BJ Mays that's called for it.
Oh yeah. And just spinning Coleman completely around.
And Buren gets out of there and throws on the run behind Akari. Second down.
And another flag's coming out. And on the Mississippi State sideline, and Coleman in there mixing it up. I can't see A&M defender. Seeing B.J. Mays. The flag came out.
You do see on the bottom of that graphic there, Kentucky and Florida coming up in the swamp next. First 2.5 quarters, almost 3 quarters, had great rhythm to it, not the fourth.
During the play, personal foul, face mask, offense number 3. That's a 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat, first down.
This is Kevin Coleman. So here they are. He is, wow, yeah. Rips B.J. Mays' helmet completely off. Not hard to figure out. Then goes after him. Still going after him. Lucky they didn't interpret that as an attempted punch. It'll be an ejection.
A&M 100 seconds away from 6-1. Van Buren, ball's out, and it looks like Turner pounced. Let's see, Cannon Boone recovered it actually, but Turner's the one that forced it out. Mississippi State cannot protect against this Aggie front. Now 2nd and 34. And Buren gets it Traore. Tackled by B.J. Mays. Then again, just about nobody can stop this A&M defensive front. Coach Jay Bateman, the defensive coordinator, said it's the best he's ever coached.
It's tough to argue against that. We've got a great depth. Had some guys get injured in this game, all able to return. Both Shamars, Turner and Stewart left the game alternatively with the injury. Nick Scorton left the game. And for about 2 quarters, Mississippi State was getting the better largely of the Aggie defense. They were a different unit in the second half.
If you're reading lips, you saw Jay Bateman say it's 4th and 22, back up.
It's good advice. That's that green dot.
Throws into traffic, incomplete. Looking for Jordan Mosley, and that'll seal it. As the Aggies will improve to 6-1, Mississippi State will fall to 1-6, and Jay Bateman can breathe.
Well, they did a great job at halftime of resetting their mindset. This was not the defensive unit we thought we'd see, but this quarterback from Mississippi State, they found something in him. He's grown up before our eyes.
It's tough going through this, losing these games week after week, but make no mistake, Van Buren and Mississippi State can turn this around. A&M and Mike Elko's first season, 4-0 now in conference play. And again, they host number 8 LSU next Saturday. The game time will be determined tomorrow. Then they're at South Carolina, host New Mexico State at Auburn, and finish the season against Texas in College Station in a rivalry game we're so glad to have back, but in the first time in the SEC. It took almost all 60 minutes for Mike Elko's team, and that's been the way Mississippi State has been playing against each and every opponent. We thank Ashley Stroline, Adam Coppinger, our entire production team, Mike and Russ up here in the booth. For Matt Stinchcomb, I'm Taylor Zarzer, where number 14 Texas A&M defeats Mississippi State 34-24 here in Starkville tonight. Coming up next on SEC Saturday night, it's Kentucky at Florida. Let's send you now to the swamp and our good friend, Dave Neal.
Yeah, we'll get you to the swamp here in just a moment. Doring Watson with you here. I want to just take a peek at some scores around the league because Alabama-Tennessee just ended a few minutes ago. Tennessee gets the 24-17 win, and it wasn't a pretty game by any stretch. Neither quarterback played particularly well.